I'm back.
That's too happy.
I'm back.
That's right. It's time for a walk of shame because the Arizona State Sun Devils came up just shy against number 6 Gonzaga, 82-88. Guys, welcome into the PHNX Sun Devil Show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined on occasion by the deli man, Shane Dieffenbach. We've got Captain Redbeard behind the Mac, steering the ship. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. I know this is a walk of shame, but it doesn't...
It's a walk of shame.
There you go. It's a walk of shame. We did this show for how many years, and we just let that go untouched the entire time?
I feel like not every game would be a walk of shame.
Just this one? What makes this one a walk of shame?
Because it's encouraging.
Yeah.
Which I know we will get to. What type of walk of shame would be encouraging, though? Like... Maybe you were with like your crush, but then you lost.
Yeah, then you lost. You fumbled the bag.
That's not good though.
No, it's not good. But this is good.
It's an encouraging one.
I know
there's a good analogy there somewhere. Someone's got it in the chat.
I know at the end of the day that it's going to go in as a loss. But overall, Arizona State, Bobby Hurley squad, they have shown improvement. They've shown life every single game this season. Obviously, the way they started against Idaho State left a lot to be desired. They were able to bounce back just the other night, and then you get into this game, and I mean, it didn't look like the moment was too big at any point, really, for Bobby Hurley.
Yeah, I think the most encouraging thing, and I know like Bobby's non-con in his past has always been a pretty exciting thing, but this year specifically, and this is something that's crazy to say, had more like... there's almost a bigger buffer window of like the team being able to perform early as opposed to the last couple of years, because obviously like every single year it's rinse and repeat. The there's 3 returning guys, 2 of them are starters, like it's constant. But this year you're especially young.
Yeah.
So you maybe we're gonna give this team a little bit of time to breathe, and seeing that Gonzaga team as the third team you face was pretty scary, and especially if you think about where this fan base was with this team after the Duke scrimmage.
Yeah.
And now where you're thinking about them, like it's really impressive what this team has been able to do.
I mean, this team had Gonzaga on the ropes for the entire evening, minus the last 45 seconds of this ball game. And they're number 6 in the country. Duke, and again, I know it was in a scrimmage, they were number 7. Duke beat up on Arizona State by 50-something points.
Duke's the number 1 team in the country.
I agree.
I think that has the fact that they're number 7 is ridiculous, and I also think Gonzaga is probably a top 5 team in the country too. I know they're 6 and they're just outside, but we said that we're 3 days removed from them absolutely dog walking Baylor.
Yeah. No, it's crazy for me though. I think the biggest
6 days. That was 6 days ago. Damn.
Was it really?
Yeah.
The biggest
that was the first game of the year.
Sign of improvement for me, or the thing that I was impressed with most watching this team was, and I said it to you, that in years past, it feels like there are offensive opportunities and moments for the Sun Devils to capitalize or to stay in a back and forth contest, where in years past, it's, oh, we're taking a bad shot, we're taking a bad 3. This time around, especially in this game, it felt like they were very, very precise in the shots and the shot selection that they wanted to take in this game. They went down, I think, at one point, 4 or 5 points. They didn't panic. There wasn't any rushed, forced, bad look 3s. They were taking what Gonzaga was giving them up until the very end of this game.
Yeah.
And it worked. What, on your side, impressed you the most about this improvement?
I think the when you go into an environment like that, and we saw this with Allen Fieldhouse years back, when you go into an environment like that, you're white knuckling almost the whole time because the moment is so big, it is so loud in there. You give up a 7-0 run off of a massive dunk, and that's when you can really collapse. And this team never did. But it's not just the fact that they didn't shrink under the bright lights. It was the fact that they were able to get good shots in an offense consistently tonight. And they have been able to a good amount this year. And I know that first game against Idaho State was scary, but they were still getting some good looks. The thing that has impressed me the most this year in general has been the offense. The first play out of halftime that was ran. I think it was a down screen for Sannon who came up and then swung to Mason. Like that's the type of stuff that you're going to see consistently. That's not just a halftime play that they drew up. We saw some really good stuff, and I don't know if that's Jerrance Howard or some of the other new assistants, or maybe Bobby has started to try new things. But you talk to any ASU hoops fan in the past, and they say the last 5 years, the thing that's plagued them the most is the lack of offensive sets in the half court,
and that's been fair.
Yeah, 100%. I hate the criticism of hero ball and how much ASU goes one-on-one, but they've had players that that's kind of their strength. You think of guys like Des Cambridge, like that's what he was best at doing. Mm-hmm. But it's a fair criticism to say that, and it hasn't been the case this year.
Yeah, I think offense was the furthest thing from the issue for Arizona State tonight. I think when you're talking about the defense, it's tough. I feel like talking about this game and trying to pinpoint a specific area where Arizona State lost this one, especially when on the flip side, it feels like Gonzaga they know who they are and they have a strong three-headed monster offensively, obviously with Braden Huff, Nembhard, and then of course Battle, who had 19 points, and Huff with 21. Like you couldn't stop them, right? And this is not just an Arizona State thing. This is going to be all season long.
They put up 100 points on Baylor.
Yeah,
101.
It's going to be in every team kind of issue. Yes, you wish some things would have gone differently. If you want to be nitpicky with it, Josan Sannon only took 4 shots. Staden Quainton didn't take any shots in the second half.
When did Sannon check out? In the first half, because I don't know if or in the second half, because I don't know if he checked back in.
Yeah, I don't think he
at the end of the game, which is interesting. Maybe it was a matchup they liked. Maybe they didn't like what he was doing on a certain end of the floor, whether that be offense or defense. But I don't think anything that he was doing really warranted.
He subbed out when it was 41-40 and didn't come back in.
Yeah, that's wild. I wonder what the reasoning was there. If they just liked the matchup with Miller better, if they thought the veteran presence was better with him. But I think I would have liked to have seen him check back in after the offense kind of went a little stale during Gonzaga's runs. Another good point about this, I know like people wanted to compare this to Kansas before the game started. I know there was a big conversation on Twitter when Rothstein tweeted about how this would usurp all of Bobby Hurley's premier wins, and people were like, okay, they beat number 1 at home. I don't think anything's going to usurp that. But the one thing about the Kansas win is that didn't come in the first 3 games. Usually they have some tune-ups. They didn't have time for that this year. Yeah. And again, and you can say the same thing with Gonzaga, but it's not really the same situation because 1, they looked fine against Baylor, and 2, they returned so many players. I mean, a lot of these guys were on this team last year, and they were big parts of it. Like a guy who I think is going to be contending for the Naismith and Nembhard has been the head of the snake here last year after transferring from Creighton. We saw what that looked like. Like this is a team that has returned a lot of guys. Dusty Stromer, who was a big part of their team at the end of last year. Gonzaga is returning a lot of players, and not only returning a lot of players, they're returning consistent talent.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be a tough place to play and a tough team to play for anybody in the country seeing Gonzaga this season. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. I do want to get to by the numbers if we have those ready. That is presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union named by Forbes. Of course, the only number that matters is that final score. Gonzaga coming out on top 88-80 over Arizona State. Leading scorers, Jihad had 22 tonight, 21 for Huff. So Arizona State with the top scorer in this ball game. You look at the way these two teams shot from the floor tonight. 48% for the Sun Devils, 50% for the Zags. From behind the arc, 33% for Gonzaga, 31% for the Devils. And then in terms of turnovers, ASU gave it away 10 times to just 8 for Gonzaga. Shane, for you, what number stuck out the most?
There's two. First of all, the fact that they almost stayed in single digits at the kennel for turnovers with the amount of freshman minutes they played is insane.
Yeah.
That is nuts. 10 turnovers? That's it? I know you still lost the battle, but man.
They had 5. I think they had 4 in the first half.
Yeah, that's some really, really encouraging stuff. The second thing, Braden Huff had 21.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Another guy that returned to Gonzaga from last year's team. That's the turnovers is the thing that shocked me the most in those numbers. Like you're going into one of the most hostile environments in a standalone game, by the way. I mean, not technically a standalone game, but this was on ESPN. Like, it's a huge game. A lot of eyes are on you. The last time you played a ranked opponent albeit it was a scrimmage on the road, things didn't go well for you. Everyone's kind of counting you out of this game. You're 24.5-point dogs coming into this game. That lineup, by the way, opened up at, I think, 18.5, and it got bet all the way up. The public did not believe in you, and you really proved them wrong. So it's really, really, really exciting for the rest of the year. But you do have to still look at it and be like, how could this team have been better and stolen a win in Spokane?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm going to agree with Short Post here, and we didn't have it on by the numbers, but it's the free throws. Arizona State, 11 of 12, so they shot it particularly well from the charity stripe. But you look on the other end, Gonzaga had 22 free throw attempts, 18 of 22, 81% from that charity stripe. They got to the line a lot. Say what you want, whether that be there at home, whatever. I mean, Jaden Quaintance did foul out of this game at the very end.
ASU wasn't forcing the issue in the paint, and they also Gonzaga got in the bonus really early, and you got to account for I think six or eight free throws in the last 30 seconds. So I think the free throw numbers were pretty even. Aside from that, yeah, you got this team in the bonus early, which hurt in the second half. But also, there wasn't a ton of shot creation around the rim aside from Basheer Jihad. Like, the dude was 7 for 7 from the free throw line. That's encouraging. But you didn't get your normal game from BJ Freeman, who didn't shoot a single free throw, which I'll if that happens again, I'd be shocked this year. Seriously, like if there's a game where he doesn't get to the line at all, I'd be shocked. And yeah, so that's where that comes from. I think the free throw numbers. I'm not really too worried about that, but I would definitely like to see this team draw more free throws. I think the free throw discrepancy doesn't bother me, but the lack of free throws from both teams makes it seem like there's
like it was a bigger issue. Yeah, no, I agree. I think in terms of if there's another thing that you want to be nitpicky about this game, because again, you have to remember this is the number 6 team in the country that you're playing on the road. What they put up a graphic, I think, on the broadcast is saying this was like the second toughest place to play or the first toughest place to play, just based off of like opposition win percentage. Like it's ridiculous.
That number's probably skewed because of the conference they play in. Still.
No, I agree. I would love to see them in the Big 12. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to see. But again, if you want to be nitpicky, I would say the assist numbers for Arizona State, just in terms of a little bit more team basketball. Arizona State just 8 assists. I believe Gonzaga on the other end had 22. So again, you could tell the chemistry that team has, and you could see it, right? That's not just a numbers thing. That's something watching that ball game that you can see. Gonzaga looks like a team that is already gelled together, whether that be because of the returners or just the sheer quality of returners or transfers that they were able to get from the portal.
Yeah, I think the number one thing is that this program has had an identity for 20 plus years with Mark Few, or he hasn't been there for 20 plus years, but they've had an identity for a long time and continuity with Mark Few and his teams. But yeah, when you bring back as many guys as you did, like your Nemhards, like your EKs, like your Huffs and what have you, and then you bring in a guy who's on his 4th school, by the way, in Cliff. They were saying Cliff on. I didn't know.
Yeah, they were saying it weird.
I think it is Cliff though. Battle. It like you're gonna get good results, especially early in the season when some teams are still catching up. So yeah, continuity is a big thing that isn't really championed enough in college basketball because you don't see it a ton.
Yeah.
Gonzaga is one of the few teams that really is able to retain that talent.
Most definitely. Guys, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. The PHNX Sun Devils post-game show is just getting started. We're going to get to bottle service and some other standouts, but we're going to do it on the other side of this break. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, PHNX is proud to have Sanderson Ford as our official vehicle partner. Look, Black Friday sales are everywhere as it's become one of the biggest sales periods of the year, with it being the day after Thanksgiving. It's fitting to say thank you. So Sanderson Ford, they're doing something super special. They're having a Black Friday thank you sale the entire month of November with great offers. Look, if you've never been to Sanderson Ford, it's not just a facility, it's not just a dealership, it is quite literally a 65-acre compound, making them the largest Ford dealership in the nation. Guys, get new 2024 F-150 trucks with 3.9 APR financing for 66 months, plus up to $4,000 cash back. Similar savings on over 900 new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot, so don't miss the Sanderson Ford Black Friday thank you sale. OAC through Ford Credit, up to $4,000 cash back, requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle. Offers expire on November 30th.
Love that. I also love the beautiful hats behind us. Some of them. We love our friends at Branded Bills. We don't love our friends so much down south, but different strokes, you know. They make fantastic hats regardless of what school you're rooting for. And, you know, they also make custom ones, and we might have something in the works for you guys coming soon. Branded Bills, it's the best way to elevate your brand, the perfect headwear and apparel, whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitted, beanies, tees. Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Basheer Jihad had some performance and style tonight. Maybe a little too much dribbling, but head to brandedbills.com and use code PHNX for 20% off your first order right now. Again, that's brandedbills.com. Use that code PHNX for 20% off of your first order, and they're local, Mesa, Arizona. I love that.
Absolutely love it. Look, also want to make sure everybody in the chat makes sure that they go and grab a PHNX Sun Devils Activate the Valley t-shirt, PHNXlocker.com, brand spanking new. Whether you're getting it for basketball season, 2-1 team that is improving every single game, or you're getting it to wear for Arizona State football 7-2, still with a chance to go win the Big 12.
Isn't that crazy? What a time.
What a time.
What a time.
PHNXlocker.com.
We'll talk some football at the end of the show.
I'm down. Make sure you grab that t-shirt. Again, PHNXlocker.com. Let's go ahead. Let's get into bottle service. I don't think you could really make an argument for anybody else tonight, even though at the start of the game I was trying to. Basheer Jihad, come on down, start popping those bottles. 22 points, 10 boards, shot 50% from the floor tonight. Also threw in a block. This kid was, he was a menace. He was a menace.
Yeah, he was there when ASU needed him most. A lot of huge buckets, but again, as I mentioned earlier, the free throw shooting 7 of 7 from the line is really impressive. And you know, only 31 minutes, which is surprising. I felt like he was on the court the entire game.
Yeah,
he was great tonight. The turnover number is a little high at 4, but you would expect that with how much the offense was running through him. We talked about it a little bit before the season started on how Basheer was kind of like a lot of these guys. They're joining this melting pot of a team where they came from a school where the offense ran through him, and that's a lot of what Basheer did at Ball State. You would like to see that a little bit less in on this team because, one, it doesn't need to run through him. You have a lot of talent around you, and two, that the handles at the top of the key is not going to work in the Big 12, big man. It simply won't. So hopefully we see a better way to utilize him, and I think we will going further into the year. But this is such a good sign if that is that's how much he can impact the game at this point in his career at ASU, when there's not really a clear role for everybody. It's encouraging, and that's the theme of tonight. It's encouraging. This team lost, yes, it stinks, but it's encouraging. You know what's not encouraging? There's less likes on this video than ASU had turnovers.
Damn, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
And
Hit the
they,
like button,
they
guys.
didn't have many turnovers
Hit the
tonight.
like button, guys. I think for me, and we talk again about Jihad and encouraging, like, you look at the way that Arizona State, and I've done this multiple times. I do it with football, I do it with basketball, just comparing this year's team already to last year's team or years past. And for such a long period of time for Arizona State basketball, it's been, we're going to live and die by the three. And we usually have one player that is our go-to scorer. If they're on, good luck. If they're not, ASU lives to fight another day, right? You've had guys like Desmond Cambridge, DJ Horn, Marion Jackson, the list goes on and on of guys that you could point to go be the superstar specifically that night, and that's really it. But through the first couple of games of this season, like, if you would have told me that Jihad tonight was going to put up 22 points against Gonzaga, I would have told you that you're crazy. That's not how they win this game. And they didn't, but that's not the reason why they didn't, right? Because Alston Mason put up 19 tonight as well. We've seen BJ Freeman have his nights. Joe Sansan and Jaden Quayton stuff in the stat sheet. Amir Ali shooting from behind the arc. Like, this team has scorers, and they, I feel like, are going to be such a difficult team to figure out, because any given night, Bobby Hurley can look at a guy and say, hey, tonight's your night, and they can go out there and perform. That's not something that we're accustomed to seeing in Arizona State.
You know what else he can do, which he did tonight? He can look at a guy and be like, tonight is not your night, and you're not
sit out,
and you're not playing. You know who he did that to?
Sean
Phillips.
How many minutes?
8 minutes.
Oof.
The matchup was just not there, and we've seen some weird things with this two center lineup.
Yeah.
You know, with Quayton and him, and I don't know how well that's going to work. The spacing just is not good on the offensive side of the ball when both those guys are in, and it makes sense. I mean, yeah, Quayton's can play like a 4, but I don't want him playing like a 4. I want him playing down low and bruising, because we've seen that's where he was at his best. The dude had the same amount of points as he scored this entire season in the first half tonight. He looked so much more comfortable.
He did.
And I think that's a big, I think it's probably more on, it's more of a compliment to Quayton's than an indictment on Phillips about the minutes. But I also just don't think that Bobby liked the matchup with these guys. I think that Gonzaga's bigs are able to stretch a little bit more. And the athleticism was there for Quayton's, and going small was also a thing that the Sun Devils did quite a bit tonight. One thing I do have to mention, to be fair, because I was pointing this out, and so was JJ. We were pointing this out after the game 2 nights ago. BJ Freeman was a team high in plus minus. Tonight he was a team low in plus minus with a minus 15. I don't know if that's just and plus minus is a stat that I don't really put too much stock in.
You don't believe in plus minus?
I believe in it. I just don't put too much stock in, because he could just sub in at wrong points and catch Gonzaga on bad runs. But it's something to watch out for. Defensively, he's been pretty good, but that was definitely the one knock on him that I had coming into the year, was his defense. So that's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, there were some good minutes from many people off the bench.
Yeah.
Including another freshman, Amir Ali, which we can talk about too.
Yeah, I want to talk before we get into any of the freshmen, because I do want to hit the Quayton's discussion again.
Yeah.
I want to get into Alston Mason, because Alston Mason for me has been one of my favorite players through the first 3 games of the season. 19 points, 3 assists, 8 of 13 from the floor. Efficient. Yeah. And he played the most minutes of anybody tonight, 35 minutes. He has been pretty 0 turnovers.
0 turnovers.
He's been remarkable to watch so far this season, whether that be taking it to the paint, shooting from behind the arc. I did not know that coming into this season what his 3-point shot was going to look like, just based off of the fact, looking at previous Arizona State point guards over the last couple seasons. I feel like it's been kind of hit or miss, like Frankie Collins.
I think he came in, I think he shot like 40-something% or something close to 40% at Missouri State.
It looks pure though. Like his shot looks really, really nice.
That was I don't think I was too worried about the 3 with him, and maybe it's different because, as you said, controlling the offense, like your game can change. But that's kind of who he was at Missouri State. I mean, he was the guy that was able to get a bucket when you needed it there. But yeah, I think the bigger concern for me, at least, was his size, and he didn't look too small tonight.
No.
As you said, the couple takes to the paint were very impressive. He's really good at shielding the ball with his body.
He's crafty. He's a crafty point guard.
Very crafty.
And I think he would have been a phenomenal point guard to have with Frankie Collins also here.
2 guard set.
Yeah, I would have paid some serious money to the NIL Collective to watch that one. But of course, these two will meet up at some point in the season when Arizona State takes on TCU. Alston Mason, again, you got to tip your cap to what he did tonight. Adam Miller with an interesting night. The other night when we did the post-game show, we didn't have numbers available for the entirety of the show. And then it was just like, boom, Adam Miller had 16 points.
Yeah.
It didn't look like he had 16 points watching that game by any means. Tonight, it looked like he only had 8 points. He did take 10 shots. It just wasn't his night tonight.
Yeah, sometimes with him, he has games where he just can't create, which is a little worrisome. Tonight was one of those nights. And other nights, it looks like he can beat anybody off the dribble. Yeah. I don't know if it was a game plan thing for Gonzaga or it just wasn't his night. But yeah, a lot of the shots he was taking were tough shots. I remember there was one when you really started, like the game really started to feel like it was too big for ASU when they went down 6 late in the game, and Miller came down and took a pretty tough shot in the key. And those type of shots either need to fall or you shouldn't be taking them. But yeah, doing all of this, putting up 80 points at the kennel. Putting up 80 points at the kennel without Adam Miller. Again, we're just pulling things that are good.
Yeah.
Screw Adam Miller's performance. Let's talk about how Adam Miller's poor-ish performance offensively can be good for ASU. Yeah. Because that is encouraging. You did this without Adam Miller. You put up 80 against one of the toughest places to play, or in one of the toughest places to play.
Yeah, I mean, overall, two of the guys, Adam Miller and Joe Sansanin, who have been some of the higher scorers for Arizona State, combined for 11 points tonight, and you put up 80. Mm-hmm. Like, this team is, I think they still have so far to grow, which is good, right? We said that the other night in their win, that this is a team that you don't want to ever be peaking too early. Now, Gonzaga, like I mentioned earlier, looks like a team that has their rhythm. They know what they are, and they are going to be a pretty difficult team for anybody. Arizona State is still trying to figure that out, and I think that should be exciting, especially with the gauntlet that you have still in non-con, right? You've got a team like Florida later on. You've got GCU this coming week at Footprint Center. That's going to be an electric game.
Yeah, JJ mentioned it earlier in the chat, saying that you need to show up. People need to show up because I know for sure the fanatics at GCU will do anything to get off their campus and go see a game. So
make sure you tuck in lowbrow. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, you really have to. That'd be a big win. It'd be a big win.
And I want to talk about, you brought it up earlier, Amir Ali, short post in the chat saying Ali needs some more time. Amir Ali, again, and I mentioned it, I think after the Idaho State game, or it might have been the Santa Clara game, where he put up 12 points, where he was just lights out from three-point land, is coming into the season like you didn't necessarily expect to get that level of scoring from Amir Ali. You knew he was a solid recruit, 4-star, one of the key pieces to this class. Obviously, he wasn't a Joe Sansan and he wasn't a Jaden Quaintance, but that's not necessarily a knock on him. For him to night in, night out still have a couple of just tough shots that he is hitting and look the way that he has thus far is so dang encouraging. Again, he didn't miss tonight. He only took 2 shots. So I agree with Short Bus. I think Ali needs some more time. But in that case, who are you stealing time from, Shane?
Yeah, it's tough. I think you either don't steal time and you just consistently rotate, and I guess you're stealing time from everybody then. But that's the only way I could see. I don't know if you really want to take minutes away from anybody that. And there's no. Are you going to say Adam Miller?
Nope. Austin Nunez got 12 minutes tonight.
Yeah. He didn't have a great game tonight, but he was pretty big in that Santa Clara win.
I'm not saying you need to take all 12, but I would love to see Amir Ali on the floor for another 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Just for what he does offensively.
He can impact the game on both ends of the floor really well. I mean, the dude's athleticism is off the charts.
He's long.
Yeah, you look at him and you forget he's what, 6'7"?
6'8".
6'8", yeah. Like he's and people again forget, if this wasn't the recruiting class that ASU got, he's your holy grail. You're like he's 30 minutes a night.
Yeah, literally.
If there aren't 2 other 5-stars on this roster. I just checked in on one of our old friends, Bo Aldridge.
How's he doing?
Can you guess where he went to college?
GCU?
Community college.
Really?
Yeah, which is interesting. I don't know, but it's interesting. Like that's the route he took. Because I'm looking at the minutes that you get for this team, and I mean,
whatever happened to Jemiah Neal? Is he out of eligibility or did he transferred, right?
No, yeah, he's not out of eligibility. I think he went to Creighton or somewhere fun, right? Yeah, he went to Creighton.
What's he been up to
Let's
lately?
see. They just won by like 100 the other night.
13 points.
He had 13 today against Fairleigh Dickinson.
Wow, there you go.
Good for him. Played 24 minutes. But
I was blanking on his name for such a long time. How's he Heat Sports? Alston Mason might be the next Frankie Collins. I think he might be better than Frankie Collins as a true point guard. Frankie, they're so different though. I feel like him and Frankie are very different guards.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about as a player as a whole, I have yet to see the impact that Alston Mason can make on the defensive end. That's anywhere in the same hemisphere as Frankie Collins. I think you're really missing that, and that's why I push back a little bit on Nunez, because he's been really good defensively this year, and you don't really have a great defensive perimeter guard. I hope that Amir Ali becomes that guy you can kind of put on anybody, because Jemiah Neal was that last year defensively. And
Give
you're
me a longer Luther
and you're going to
Muhammad.
need that. That's longer Luther Muhammad. That's going to be an interesting storyline to watch this year, is who becomes your guy defensively, because I think you're
at least at the guard spot.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say you're solidified in the paint. Your paint defense has been really good. The rebounding, albeit there were some bad offensive rebounds tonight, has been a lot better than in years past. But you don't have that guy you can kind of put on anybody yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that becomes one of the freshmen. I don't know if that becomes, I mean, I don't know who that becomes, because Jihad is too slow to put on a guard. Mason's too small. I haven't seen it yet out of Sannon. And I think the clear guy is Amir Ali, and number 5. He's number 5. So
Who was number 5?
Jemiah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my brain erased Jemiah Neal from my memory for some reason. I couldn't tell you why, but I'm lucky.
Sadly, House of Heat Sports, Alston Mason is not a freshman, unfortunately, despite what the broadcast on
he's a senior,
in the first game would have told you. Yeah, he's a senior.
Yeah,
he's born in Belgium.
I think they mentioned that on the Santa Clara Flow Sports broadcast.
That's fun. Good for Flow. Good for Flow Sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing their research,
guys. BC in the chat. Possible tournament team. Let's go ahead and answer that question on the other side of this break. Guys, whether you are celebrating a Sunday football victory or you're drinking your sorrows away for the Arizona State 8-point loss to Gonzaga, doesn't matter. Grab yourself a neutral. Keep it tasty, Tempe. This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. And I'll be honest with you, I am not usually somebody that a hard seltzer is my first choice of drink. But you put a neutral in my hand, it doesn't even taste like a traditional seltzer because it tastes so much better. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived, made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Tastes good, like really good. Like, you know what a step up of good is?
Really good.
Great. That's what neutral is.
Wouldn't that be a 2 steps up? Because where's really good? It's really good a half step.
Yeah, it's a half step.
Okay.
Yeah. Just want to make sure you got that. Neutral, keep it tasty. Enjoy responsibly. 2024 Anheuser-Busch Neutral, flavored vodka and carbonation, St. Louis, Missouri.
You know what stinks is that you don't get I guess this can be a resume game for ASU. So that could be exciting. What's always on my resume is being me. And constantly being me.
You are you.
Yep, I am me at Gila River Resorts and Casinos as well. I'm the same person there as I am here and as I am off the show.
He's not lying.
No, I'm not. I love me some Gila River Resorts and Casinos, and nobody does it better. You can visit all of their locations, Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Vequiva, Santan Mountain, to experience the best that the Valley has to offer with 4,500 plus slots and live table games, or they got a bunch of sports books there too. So make sure to head over there, and you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit play@gila.com for more details. Gila Resorts and Casinos. Get in it.
You want to answer BC's question? Possible tournament team? Do we think that this team, we've seen enough in 3 games to?
Heck no, tech no, no way. And that's not I'm saying that you haven't seen like that. That's not enough. It's that
There's just so much left.
I wouldn't. You can't say either way. I think you can say that Gonzaga is a tournament team. You can confidently say that. But yeah,
they're trending in the right direction. They're trending in a really good direction.
Here. The question was possible tournament team.
Yes,
absolutely. It's what they're 100% a possible tournament team. But like we can get really excited about the season right now. We can say this is encouraging for this reason and that reason. It doesn't really matter until you see what they play like in Big 12 basketball.
Yeah,
because you got a big test every single night when conference schedule opens up. You're playing your UCLA's and U of A's every single night.
Yeah.
So we'll wait to see that. But I remember I have said I think this type of team that Bobby likes to play, the style of play that he likes to play with, translates well into Big 12 basketball. You're physical. They run a lot. And we'll see what this new look Big 12 style looks like, but I don't think it changes much. I think there's going to be a lot of athleticism, a lot of up and down, and we saw that tonight, and ASU was competing.
If you play like this tonight, you're a tournament team. If you play like this every given night. And again, like you said, you could say Gonzaga's a tournament team because they play like this every single night.
Yeah.
If you don't believe us, go watch the Baylor game, right? Baylor's a ranked team, a really, really good team. So if Arizona State can start to put together performances like this, night in, night out, they can continue to show improvement like they did from Idaho State to Santa Clara, from Santa Clara to this game, then Arizona State and Bobby Hurley are certainly punching their ticket. But the season is still really, really, really long.
Yeah. Obviously, this was a really encouraging win or loss, but
almost.
Would you say the other? Yeah, almost one. Would you say the other two losses were discouraging, or did you find
the other two wins?
The other two wins, excuse me, were discouraging, or could you find some encouraging things in those wins as well?
I think you could find encouraging things. Like, again, if you are looking for them, then you can.
Sorry, let's more talk about the first game, because the second game, you're playing Santa Clara at a neutral site and you were 5.5 point dogs. Like that's an encouraging win. Santa Clara is a well-coached team. Shout out Herb Sendek. And they have some really good players. So did you find encouraging things after game number one?
I did, but it was minimal, and it had all to do with the freshmen. It all had to do with Joe Sansanin and Jaden Quaintance. And I know Quaintance didn't score a ton offensively, but a 17-year-old, the youngest player in college basketball, going out there and having 6 blocks. I don't care who they're playing. That's a performance. And then Joe Sansanin offensively showed that he could score at all 3 levels, which I think is huge. Yeah. And you knew that he could do that at the previous level, at the AAU high school ball level, but to do it on a Division I floor against other really good talent is something that you just kind of have to wait and see, right? You can want and hope and think that these players are going to do that, but they have to go out there and do it. That was honestly, though, probably the only thing that was encouraging for me out of that Idaho State game. Would you say that there was something? I mean, you're Mr. Optimist when it comes to ASU basketball.
So Joe said earlier in the chat, this team is good, guys. I promise.
What did you find encouraging from that Idaho State game?
I think people might scoff at this, but I really thought the offense, I was kind of excited about the offense. Things weren't working.
After the game?
Yeah, things weren't working very well, but it was different.
Yeah, it was an offense.
Yeah, so that's encouraging. This team has constantly improved every single game, I think. And even though you lost this game, I think you're better than you were in the past 2 games, which is saying something, because in that Santa Clara game, I thought you were really good.
I definitely agree.
I thought you were really good. So yeah, I'm in a positive spot. When am I not about ASU hoops until midway through the season? But this is an encouraging start for the Sun Devils for sure.
Well, you're in a positive spot. I want to bring you down.
Okay.
I want to get to aftertaste.
Okay.
So I know that's going to definitely bring you down, guys. If you are new
because
here,
of you, not because of what I'm saying.
It's because of me. Aftertaste, the most sus segment in all of ALLCITY Network. I have given it that title. Would you agree that it's pretty sus? Just based off of the way that it's read?
Well, I can't think of something else that causes as much controversy as this.
This segment?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, this is where you tell me what this game tasted like. So, Shane, for you, what was airdropped into your tongue bucket?
Airdropped. Like are you talking
from
about
a chopper?
Oh, so like a physical. I thought you were talking about like an iCloud, like through the cloud.
Oh no, I didn't even think about it like that.
That reminded
you got like Wi-Fi on your tongue.
Yeah, that reminded me of the scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory where they shrunk or made a really big chocolate bar small, and then the guy went really small.
Can I be honest with you?
No, you haven't. You haven't seen it?
I've seen parts of it. I don't think I've seen the whole thing.
Which one? Both?
I've definitely not seen the OG one.
You got to watch the OG one, and you got to take.
Wait, which one is the OG? How old is the OG one? Because I saw one when I was a kid, like not all the way through. Not the one with Johnny Depp. I haven't seen that one.
You got to take some enhancers and watch that.
Some enhancers?
Yeah. You got to smoke an enhancer and watch that.
Inhaling.
You might freak out.
Okay.
That literally, it's closer to a horror movie than it is a comedy.
Really?
Not
is
kidding.
It listed as a comedy?
No, I'm just saying on the spectrum of two wildly different like scales, or two wildly different genres on the scale. It's like 51% horror. No, I'd say 55. That boat scene, chat. You know what I'm talking about. Terrifying. What were we talking about? Okay,
what was airdropped into your tongue bucket?
Let's see. It's got to be something that like I'm like kind of down with, but like it's not great because you have to.
Yeah.
Maybe like I just tried like a new candy from a different country, and I like kind of liked it, but it gave me a tummy ache.
Okay. Can you describe the taste of your new foreign candy?
Sour.
Throw candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not sweet, just super sour.
Yeah, super.
Tasted good, but you're like,
You know what it is? It tastes like a warhead. Because you were battling.
You're battling.
Here it is. This is it.
Okay.
Here we go, chat. Forget what I said. It's a warhead. You ever had a warhead?
Of course I've had a warhead.
You're battling for a whole 40 minutes on the court, smacking the floor, puckering up, going, sour. And it got really sweet at the end, and then it disappeared.
Then you were out of warheads.
Yeah, then it was gone.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, but you were battling that whole time.
What about you, Captain Redbeard?
I'm going to stick with the battling theme. Go with Indian spicy.
Okay, yeah.
You're battling with the spicy, and then you're like getting through it. You're feeling like a man. You're really putting up a good fight. And then you head to the restroom because it's defeated you.
Yeah.
This for me tastes like drinking a beer for the first time. Or I'm going to say this tastes like drinking a beer for the fourth time. Because beer for me was an acquired taste.
You remember your fourth beer, son?
Probably not, to be honest with you.
No way.
But it was, for me, like I didn't like it the first few times. And then there was a time where I just was drinking it about halfway through it. I was like, you know what? This is good. Give me another. And that's what this game was like. There were moments of it where I was like, but at the end of the day, I don't care that it was a loss. Obviously, you want to win every game, but this one, like, I'm cool with this. This is a game that you showed fight. You showed fight in this ball game. You were a 22.5 point underdog.
You say that.
You were a 22.5 point underdog. Nobody thought you were going to even remotely be close into this game.
I'm fine with a loss, Totri,
you
over here.
led this game for 11 minutes. Nobody thought you would do that. Nobody thought Basheer Jihad, myself included, was putting up 22 and 10. Like,
has this game changed your impression of Basheer?
No, I told you I have to have somebody on this team that I don't like.
So you straight up don't like him. Why don't you just I'm sorry to catch a stray. Why don't you just go hit on like Jordan Williams or somebody that doesn't get many minutes?
There's a guy named Jordan Williams on this team? There's not.
Let's move on.
Brandon Gardner, maybe?
Yeah.
He played.
0 minutes, which means he checked in at the end of the game. Yeah, that's fair. Speaking of optimism, let me find this John Rothstein tweet. He had a really good tweet about ASU. I love John Rothstein's tweets because he's the sickest man to ever be sick.
He's healthy, though. Everything's good
when it comes to hoops.
Health-wise, yeah.
So he tweeted right after the game, the quality of play in college basketball this week has been off the charts given the landscape and the lack of retention. It's simply amazing how well played some of these top games have been. Gonzaga just won in another terrific tilt against ASU at the Kennel, and then quote tweets it and goes, "There are no moral victories, but Arizona State took Gonzaga to the wire in the Kennel tonight, 14 days after getting blown out against Duke in a charity exhibition. If the Sun Devils do what they did tonight, they'll be competitive."
Yeah,
in the Big
they'll
12.
be more than competitive in the Big 12, to be honest with you, if they do this every given night.
Is that an ISU fan in the chat?
Yeah, it's Devonal. He's actually he's a diehard.
Love that.
Yeah, yesterday was not a good day for Devonal after what Kansas was doing. There were U of A fans fighting with Devonal, the Iowa State fan, in the ASU diehard Discord.
You guys are all sick.
But it's great. Where else would you rather be?
I love the comment. Imagine not having 96 votes.
Yeah.
35. Hashtag 26th team in the country. Put the banner up.
Arizona State 27. Mm-hmm. There you go. Look, I do want to get to the Bobby board because personally, it's my favorite graphic that
Bobby
we have.
board!
Yeah, can you do that in honor of
Bobby board.
There we go. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the Bobby board. Obviously, you have that Duke scrimmage at the start. We throw that away. Idaho State, new Bobby face. Santa Clara, Bobby face. This one stings a little bit because you were so close to getting a new one. And then you look at what Arizona State has kind of upcoming before you get to conference play. Like I said, you got Florida a little bit later on in a couple weeks. GCU, that next one, I believe Thursday night, is going to be a serious contest. Outside of those two teams, before you hit non-con, is there anybody
Before
that
you hit
you're looking
conference
at?
play?
Oh yeah, before you hit conference play, is there anybody that you're still like, we need to show up big time? No.
San Diego. I'm still scarred, guys. For those of you who don't know, I was at that game last year.
You were
For
in that high school basketball gym?
For some reason, work had taken me to San Diego, and I was like, "Is ASU playing at San Diego?"
Yeah.
And they were.
Not San Diego State.
Yep, I went to that
What's
game.
their mascot? The Toros?
Yep, the Toros. Nice pull.
Yeah. That's what I do, man.
good.
That's literally what I do.
Can you pull up Bobby Board one more time? I mean, UNM's always tough. Jalen House in his 7th year. St. Mary's.
Yeah.
St. Mary's was ranked at the end of last year.
Is this not just such a, what's the word I'm looking for? Visually appealing graphic?
Yeah, it's a great graphic. Shout out Sydney.
Shout out Sydney.
Yeah, and then you got the Minutemen, which isn't gonna, dude. That, wow. The last 5 games of non-con, and this was a meme. San Diego, like mentally, you're still a little afraid of them.
I don't think you are. I mean, fans maybe, but this team is different.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about for myself.
Oh, you're gonna be
4 of those last 5 games are real teams.
Yeah. Real.
The
team.
Minutemen
Yeah,
are
fake
a
ones.
the Minutemen are a like legit group of 5 team. Like they're real. So it's St. Mary's is a sneaky game. It's gonna be fun. Jacob doing Lord's work. Apparently, Santa had back tightness early in the game. That's why he didn't play in the second half. Interesting.
Tough. Got to make sure he gets healthy for that Thursday game.
Yeah, they've
definitely gonna need him.
They've had a sneaky busy first week.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with the game against Duke, and you're traveling a bunch. That's a long flight to Spokane from Henderson or from the Vegas airport, I guess, because they flew right there, I'd assume. Now you get some rest. You don't have to play until Thursday, and you're back home basically at the footprint. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, if you're an ASU fan, definitely show out to that game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Look, we are going to talk a tad ASU football and get our final thoughts on this game, but we are going to do it on the other side of our final break. Guys, I tell you about Circle K every day. I've made Circle K
Ladies and gentlemen,
part
boys and girls,
of my lifestyle. It's because it's America's thirst shop. Okay, some are even saying, yes, that it's Totri's thirst shop. Just so you know.
who's saying that?
The streets. The streets have been saying that. Join Inner Circle. It's their free membership program. It's super easy to download, and it's here to help you guys save money every single day. Enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled, and just like that, Shane, all you got to do, pull up to the pump, type in your number, and you're going to start getting those deals like saving 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, and then every single day after that, every single day, could save 3 cents per gallon as well. Enjoy your member-exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle members like you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents, less than $1. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Yeah, lots of encouraging stuff. Not just from ASU basketball, but also from Circle K. It's encouraging because it's like one of my favorite places to go, and I always feel better after I leave there. I also feel better knowing that DFCU has my back. Desert Financial is the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University for more than 84 years. DFCU has been Arizona's largest and most trusted local credit union dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. I know that ASU has had some financial solutions that have helped make their athletic lives easier, but also just success by leadership. And DFCU has great leadership as well. And now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started today.
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 I like the way you said that.
Today.
You want to close? Let's save the closing thoughts for ASU hoops. Let's talk a little ASU football.
Oh, I was doing the other way.
I want to do this way.
Okay.
I want to do this way because I want to go out with the sweet, sweet, sexy jazz of closing time.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
So if you
breaking news.
Yeah. Jordan Scott, the top-ranked JUCO wide receiver, 6'7" wide receiver, committing to Arizona State. If you are a PHNX diehard, put it in the diehard Discord last night that Arizona State looked to land Scott. So definitely some big additions, literally, for Arizona State. Not the only wide receiver that Kenny has managed to snag over the weekend. You got a commit to flip from TCU, Chance Abels, class of 2025, three-star wide receiver who was also recruited by Tennessee, Arkansas, Baylor, some other Big 12 schools. So Sam Levitt and company, this offense getting literally bigger over the next couple of years.
And the 2026 commit, Cooper Reid, that happened during the game as well. That's 3 commits today from at the wide receiver position, from as William Jasper says in the chat. That's Hines Ward tweeting that was a slam. This was a slam dunk of a weekend. It's a fun time to be an ASU football fan for looking at the future. I mean, obviously a really what's the word I'm looking for? Intentional point to make, I think, by this coaching staff after you lost Adrian Wilson to Colorado, because I think they went on the road pretty fast to find that replacement.
Don't forget Cam Dyer, too.
And that's you know what? It's something that ASU hasn't been able to have in the past, is the luxury of being like, okay, you lost one of your scholarship recruits. Now we can go after some of the other guys we're going after, because I'm sure that TCU flip was somebody they had on their radar that they heavily pursued after the Adrian Wilson decommitment.
Did you see why Scott committed what he said?
Mm-mm.
I believe to 24/7. He said that his whole family roots for the Steelers. So passing up the opportunity, or an opportunity to be coached by Hines Ward, was something that he couldn't pass up.
That's so funny.
And that's something that you get when you have a coach like Hines Ward in your wide receiver room. So Arizona State football continuing to do amazing things off the field as well as on the field. If you missed the Arizona State postgame show last night, me and Eric Ruby and Captain Redbeard did over an hour talking about Arizona State's 7-2 start to the season for the first time since 2014. Had that record, so absolutely unbelievable stuff. But I do want to ask you, Shane, if you had any final thoughts on what you saw from Bobby Hurley and the boys up against Gonzaga. Is it Gonzaga or Gonzaga?
It's Gonzaga. I always say Gonzaga. I have my buddy went there for law school, and he says Gonzaga. So I mean, it's Go Zags. Like,
yeah, I guess that's fair. They're trying to fool you.
I've never heard somebody that went there call it Gonzaga. So Gonzaga also sounds pretentious. Gonzaga.
Where do you go, Gonzaga?
I went to Gonzaga.
Bulldog.
Yeah, this was final thoughts. This was an awesome performance. As good as you can get in a loss. You put up 80, one of the toughest places to play. So offense was good. Defense was solid.
Progress.
Yeah, forward progress. Go forward. That's all you need.
Safety last night, Shane. It was a safety.
Okay, let's talk about that. Yes, let's talk. Well, I see he doesn't want to talk about it because he knows he's wrong.
I'm right. There's no forward progress when you go backwards after that.
What?
He wasn't tackled backwards. He ran backwards.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
So that's your reasoning, is you think he ran backwards?
Yes.
That's fair. Okay. That's fair that you think that, but he didn't run backwards. He was tackled.
Did you ask him?
No, but they had a good angle and were able to see that he was not. They reviewed it and they were able to see that it was clearly not a safety, and I stand by that. And if you don't think that, you're allowed to, but you're wrong.
You finished?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Captain Redbeard, it is that time. It is a Sunday. The bar is getting ready. What time is it, Captain Redbeard?
It's time to close it up.
It is time. It is closing time. This segment is powered by Neutral. Keep it tasty, Tempe. Enjoy responsibly. Time to get out of here with a couple of takeaways. Number one, improvement. Arizona State has found a way to improve game after game, from Idaho State to Santa Clara, from Santa Clara to Gonzaga. It's something you like to see. Number two, you got yourself an offense. Basheer Jihad, 22 points tonight. Alston Mason, 19. We've seen it time and again so far through the first 3 games. Any given guard can go out there and drop 15 plus points. That is a sign of hope, which brings us to the final takeaway. If you're an Arizona State fan right now, whether that be for football, basketball, or anything, you have some hope that these athletic
You got more than hope.
Are on their way up.
You got confidence.
Confidence.
You got confidence.
I love it.
That both of these programs are on their way up. Bobby Hurley in year 10, by the way.
Unbelievable. Guys, that is going to do it for tonight's
Unbelievable.
PHNX Sun Devils show. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow this guy right here, the Deli Man, at Shane Deef.
You retired at halftime with the number 6 team in the country, and that should be really, that you really take away tonight with. That's so bad.
As always.
Well, yeah, I was thinking of a way to close it as always. Can you give me my outro one more time?
Yeah. First off, I'm going to say you can follow Captain Redbeard at KCube Sports. You can follow this guy right here, the Deli Man, at Shane Deef.
Being positive about a team early in the year and hopefully positive later in the year, as always.
I love it. Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you Tuesday. But in the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.